Welcome everyone to Bonifabcustom. Today I'm going to be doing a tool review on these two blades, the Morse Metal Devil and the Diablo Steel Demon. Now both of these blades I've used before. They're great blades for cutting steel, ferrous metal, and also non-ferrous. If you use a little bit of lubricant, you can get away with cutting some aluminum with it. Now, what I have a problem with is both of these blades claim to cut stainless steel. Now, I do a lot of exhaust work and I cut a lot of pie cuts from stainless steel. So today we're gonna be cutting on both of these blades some stainless steel tubing, 316, 2-inch diameter, and we're gonna just see how long these blades last cutting that material. Now, we're gonna be putting this on a Morse saw. The Morse saw, hands down, is a great saw. I've used for years, never had any problems with it. The only problem I have is right now is using these blades on stainless steel. Now, like I said, they both claim to cut stainless steel, and I'm gonna show you just how long they last in comparison to each other on that material. So let's get this on the saw and let's start cutting. Okay, so before I put it on, I wanted to do a quick look at the tips of the blade on my microscope. And you can see here, let me just focus this better. And I have my pencil here. And let me just point down to the blade. There you go. That's the Diablo Steel Demon. And this is about 1,000 times zoom. I think that's what it says. And there is the carbide. And this right here is the brazing of the carbide. And let's just look at the tip there. And let's see if I can focus that a little bit better. Okay. And that's basically just showing us it's an angle going the opposite way and away from the blade there. If I look at the next tooth, it has a smaller angle on it. You can see that. Okay, so the blade teeth, you can see it's nice and sharp right at the end here. Looks good. Extremely sharp at the front. So looks nice. Now for the here. And I'll just bring it down. You can see this is the Morse that's there. Let's take a quick look at these teeth. They actually look a lot different. Actually, looks like there's a coating on them, like some plastic. Yeah, it might be something just from factory. But you can see that the teeth are actually quite a bit different than the Steel Demon, the Diablo. Let's take a look at another tooth here. So totally different. It has a couple of angles here, one in the front. And there you can see similar brazing and angle on the top. There you can see it again too. Nice and sharp. I think this is just some plastic on the front there. And you can see the angle on here. Overall looks nice. But it looking nice doesn't mean anything if it doesn't work properly. So I just want to compare and show you that they are sharp, what the profile kind of looks like, and we'll do a comparison after we cut I think I'm gonna cut about 30 cuts with each one. And let's put it on the Morse saw and we'll test it out. So this is the saw we're going to be testing it on. It is a Morse saw, and hands down the Morse saw is a great saw. Now like I said again, we're not testing the saw. I know the saw is good. It's the blades, and it's cutting stainless steel, like the blades clean to cut, be able to cut. Now this saw, again, great saw. I've cut things like, I put a diamond blade on there and cut hundreds of bricks on this saw. Like it just doesn't die. So it's a great saw. So let's put on first the Metal Devil right here by Morse, 14-inch diameter. And we'll put this on, and then we'll get into what we're gonna cut with it. So my blade's on, and I have my material inside. So it's 316 2-inch diameter round stainless tube, and it has a 16th wall. Now everything's ready. I have this, like I said, I cut pie cuts, so I'm gonna cut this on a 10-degree angle right now. And I'm gonna just cut, I'd say let's cut about 25 cuts first, and then we'll see how the blade is reacting at 25 cuts, and then we'll take it off and we'll look at the actual blade tips under the microscope to see what it looks like. Okay, so that's 25 cuts. By the 25th cut, this the blade, it's hard to see on the time lapse, but it did have a hard time cutting that last cut. So let's take this off, and we're going to take a look at the tips under the microscope. So here is the Morse Metal Devil, and that's the tip. And you can see it just destroyed the edge there. Let's take a look at the front. Front's not too bad. Let's take a look at another tooth, and that's where I'm having my problem. Why you can feel that tension. By 25 cuts, it just doesn't want to cut anymore. And the problem with this is that once you wreck it or destroy those, that one there has a chunk right out of it. Yeah, and you can see the edge is not sharp at all. So it just makes it even worse as you're cutting. It just compounds the damage there as you keep on pushing through that stainless steel. Now you're not going to cut any steel with this either. It's not like you can use it for stainless and then go back and use it on steel. It's just destroyed. So let's put in the Diablo Steel Demon, and we'll do the same thing. We'll do 25 cuts, and then we'll take a look at the blade tips. Okay, so now I have the Diablo Steel Demon in there, and we're gonna do the same thing. We have it set up, the 316 2-inch diameter with a 1/16 wall, and we're gonna cut the same thing, some pie cuts, and we're gonna do about 25 cuts also with this blade. Okay, so I have the Steel Demon in there again in the microscope, and we're just going to take a quick look at the edge again. Now this is after 25 cuts, and actually looks pretty good still. It's not too bad. Let's see if we can see some wear. Actually, it's not bad. Not bad at all right now. Okay, looks good. That's, yeah, that's actually after the 25 cuts. Now I'm probably gonna do another 25 cuts on here because I don't see that much wear. It's actually pretty good. So overall, that Diablo for 25 cuts seems to be half decent. And let's take a look at the actual last cut. I'm just gonna take a look at it on the microscope. And what I'm looking for is when stainless steel heats up, it work hardens, and you'll start to get a burr. The bigger the burr, the harder you can tell it is. So on this, that last cut, I have to bring this up more. You can see that that's the edge. There's a burr there. Right, you see the stainless right on top there. That's actually the ink of the Diablo blade on there. It's actually not too bad. Seems like it was still cutting pretty good at 25 cuts. Now the Metal Devil, you can see there was a huge burr by the end of it, and see the discoloration on it, and you can tell that's why it wasn't cutting anymore. And on here, you can kind of see, let's see how big that burr is on there. And you can see how wide it is and discolored, which caused the stainless to get harder, which wrecked the blade more and just made the problem even worse. Okay. So I'm gonna cut another 25 cuts. Okay, so I got the Steel Demon in there again, and I actually made 60 cuts with it. So in total 60, and it actually looks, surprisingly, still looks good. Right there. There was a little bit of drag at, on the 60th cut. So just take a look. There might be a couple of teeth that have some wear. I don't know what that is on there. But okay. So I think there's maybe a little bit. You can see there. Right there's a little piece missing there. But a little bit on top. You can see that the tip there is starting to wear. But not too bad for 60 cuts. And the actual last piece wasn't too bad still. So it probably has another, I don't know, I'm only guessing, maybe 30 cuts in it, maybe 25, 30. So it might do 75, 80 cuts on that stainless. So that was the testing of both those blades. Now, first of all, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I just, I physically bought them myself. Now the Steel Demon is in Canadian dollars about $150 to $160 a blade, and the Metal Devil is a little more expensive. It's about $205 to $220 Canadian. So there is a big price difference, Now, my thoughts, and you can see I basically cut the stainless just like I did the Steel Demon, and the Metal Devil lasted 25 cuts. If I went to 30, I probably would have sheared off some of the carbide tips. It really destroyed those tips. Now, for metal cutting, ferrous metal, it's pretty good. But for stainless steel, the Morse blade should not have put on that it can cut stainless steel. It is cut stainless steel very poorly. I would not recommend this type of blade for any sort of stainless steel. Now, if you want to cut, again, this one here lasted, not that it lasted, I stopped at 60 cuts on the stainless, so over double of what the Metal Devil will do, and it's cheaper, and it also cuts ferrous metal. It says it cuts steel, cuts aluminum, cuts all kinds of stuff, so it's a lot better. Would I say this is a good stainless steel cutting blade? Probably. I don't know if I would use this to cut a bunch of stainless, but if you needed to cut stainless and you're kind of stuck so you don't have to change the blade, you could cut stainless with this. It did pretty good overall. I really didn't put it to its limits. I could have just kept on cutting just to see how long it would last. But for the price and for its performance so far, has been pretty good. So I would recommend the Diablo Steel Demon for your Morse saw. If you're gonna buy a Morse saw, just tell them to take out that blade and put in one of these Diablo Steel Demons. They just work way better. Very surprising because Morse is the company that makes those metal saws, but the blades, for me, for stainless, don't work at all. So, thank you for watching my tool review today, Bonifabcustom. If you want to watch more tool reviews or other projects that I do in my shop, don't forget to subscribe, push that button for notifications, and we'll see you later on this week with another project.